Good afternoon. This is Vanessa Torre from Curaçao. I'm Director of Foreign Economic Cooperation at the Ministry of Economic Development of Curaçao. Welcome to our session during the Virtual Island Summit, Curaçao, the Smart Island. Curaçao offers many opportunities to startups, but also more advanced businesses. And we want to talk a little bit more this morning about all these possibilities with an array of interesting speakers. Our Minister, Giselle McWilliam, will join us shortly. Online, we already have Ms. Suleika Mook. She's the Director of the Division of Economic Development and Innovation at the Ministry of Economic Development. And we also have Ricardo Locken of the Curaçao Innovation and Technology Institute here in Curaçao. We also have Mr. Sean de Boer, Director of the Central Bureau of Statistics, our National Statistical Office, and Ms. Sabine Berendse of Green Phoenix. I would like to welcome our minister. She's right next to me.
Hi.
Giselle McWilliam, who will also be here this morning. I'll give a short introduction and then I will also ask our minister to say a few words to us this morning. So for those that do not know, Curaçao measures 444 square kilometers and has approximately 160,000 inhabitants. Currently, its GDP is 5 billion guilders. That's approximately 3.5 billion US dollars. The island has an interesting geographical position in the Southern Caribbean, right off the coast of Venezuela, with several natural deep sea ports at its disposal. Let me just put on a short PowerPoint that I made especially for this event. Let me go to the PowerPoint. While the PowerPoint is coming up, I will continue giving the introduction. Traditionally, the island functions as a bridge between Latin America and Europe. Currently, its economy relies on several pillars, such as trade, tourism, financial services, and other services, and also oil refining. The island, although small in size, operates among others as an international port with free zones, a dry dock, an oil refinery, and an international airport. Its aim for the future is dynamic growth on a sustainable basis, resulting in a balance between the economic, social, and ecological dimension. As a small, vulnerable island and a developing state in the Caribbean, Curaçao faces specific challenges like all the other islands and needs to take several risks into account with respect to vulnerability when planning our sustainable development. To move from a position of vulnerability and dependence to one of resilience, Curaçao must explore new areas of economic development and in some cases, diversification. Sound policies focused on broadening the options should be designed to exploit the interlinkages between sectors like agriculture, tourism, ICT, and finance, among others. Therefore, managing Curaçao's transition from a dependent economy to a resilient one requires both strong managerial and political capacities, which we have, huh?
Yes, definitely.
Curaçao, like all islands, has considerable concerns about the threats posed by a changing climate and regional geopolitical developments to its development prospects. Focusing on economic diversification along with the implementation of climate change mitigation and adaptation actions will require a significant and sustained investment of resources that the island would be unable to provide on its own. So targeted investments need to be attracted. As such, Curaçao's future development strategy has to be predicated on proactive, sensible, and practical measures to seek to respond to these global challenges. So we need to go from vulnerabilities to opportunities.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
So Minister, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to our session, our virtual Island Summit.
Yes, this is very new. I never done this before, but this phase about the Island Summit is totally new for me being here with the guys today. But I think the introduction that Vanessa gave you all is, I mean, you said everything, and we need to go to opportunities and working together as islands. I think this is the way to do it, and of course using innovation like we're doing right now is the perfect things to our limited of financial resources. We have to make use of this kind of platform and innovation to connect with each other and help each other and achieve each of our goals.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Minister, how do you envision Curaçao as a smart nation?
I think Curacao has not to be arrogant, but I think Curacao has an edge in the Caribbean. We have a very good infrastructure, connectivity by internet, even that we are providing Cuba right now with this, and let's keep on growing. Because of these infrastructures and that we have a data center also. I mean, it's for a small island to have a data center says a lot, and also our human capital. Our human capital rewarding innovation, know-how is very valuable and very important. And all these dots connect to each other. That it's up to us to make Curaçao the innovative island of the Caribbean, of the world.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That's a great vision. And Minister, we know that you are an advocate for sustainable development. And what do you see we can do on short term, medium, and long term to, from a smart nation being developed as a smart nation, but which also caters to the sustainable development of Curaçao as an island, as a resilient island, as an innovative island? How do you see that?
As all the factors I just mentioned before, will also apply for this. But I think the most important thing is to make our people aware how important this issue is for us and how we can commit to this. Because we as government can come with all the beautiful plans, implement success stories from somewhere else, but if our people doesn't know what it is, they don't believe in it, it is not real. We will never make it. So I think what we have to do is educate our people, inform them how important it is to be sustainable, and what are all those things that we can do as inhabitants. Maybe they're small, but have big impact. And of course, at the level of the government, we have also responsibility to lead this, and more or less to lead as example. And for the private sector, and the private sector, I think they have also responsibility, and I think they rely too much. In Curaçao, I see they rely too much on the government. What is government doing instead of taking the lead as somewhere else? They take the lead. But we know our situation, so we as government has to take bold steps to make our island what we wish to be sustainable for the upcoming years and decades, and for the next generation. And all the fronts, we can think about education, energy, tourism, everything. I mean, there are big steps, but not impossible.
Right, wonderful, wonderful. Our chat is red hot. You see, it's 46 messages already. So we are going to look what they are telling us or asking us. But in the meantime, I would like to also invite the other panelists to share a few words with us and also answer some questions to make the discussion very dynamic. And Minister, feel free to also join us in the discussion. Our next panelist is the Director of the Division of Economic Development and Innovation in our Ministry of Economic Development, Ms. Zuleika Mook. And Ms. Zuleika Mook is a fervent believer in innovation and developing Curaçao as a smart nation. So I would like to hear from her which policies do we have in place in Curaçao to stimulate an enabling environment for innovative entrepreneurs. You have to unmute. Yes.
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 Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Yes. In the meantime, I was helped by our ICTer, so I believe you can see me and you can hear me, right?
Very well. Wonderful.
Okay. Nice. Wonderful. Like Vanessa said, I'm the Director of the Sector Economic Development and Innovation at the Ministry of Economic Development. And indeed, innovation, as you can hear, is part of our sector name. It's a drive towards everything we're doing right now in terms of how we are developing our economy as a digital economy, but also, of course, the smart nation that we all entice to come, as Curaçao is also trying in all other aspects to become more smart. Indeed, we have some policies in place. We have an innovation policy. We also have energy policy, because in terms of the innovation at this moment, we're focusing on the area of the green area, the alternative energy. So specifically for the energy, we have created a lot of strategic goals that we want to achieve in terms for Curaçao in that way to become more innovative and also smart at the same time. So we're doing that. And besides policy, we also have like a Smart Nation platform. It's a platform with different organizations, public and private, that are looking into 6 pillars that have been identified in Curaçao as areas where we can become more smarter. I do have a PowerPoint. I don't know how that works. How you can share. Vanessa, maybe you can help me with that.
Okay. What you have to do is open your PowerPoint and see underneath you see a button that says share.
Okay.
And then you are able to share your screen so we can see the PowerPoint.
Okay, so let me see. Are you seeing this then at this moment?
Yes, we are seeing it.
So
Wonderful.
that's the 6 main pillars for our comprehensive smart nation development. That's what the vision document for our smart nation policy entices. As you can see, we have identified 6 pillars. The first is education and knowledge development. Second is infrastructure, transportation, data, and services. And the third is urban planning, energy, and environment. And like I said, for energy, at this moment, we already have a specific energy policy. The fourth pillar is public safety and security. Fifth is smart destination for leisure and business. And this is because Curaçao is now, and the tourism sector is one of the biggest sectors at this moment, where we are striving to develop. So we want to become more smart in terms of tourism, but also more sustainable. And the last pillar is health and wellness. So you see, we have identified the main pillars that we want to come up with different projects, but also investment projects. So at this moment, there are some identified already, and we are working for all these areas to become more smart. So that's a little our vision. You can see pillar 1, education and knowledge development, what you can think about, what we're doing in that area. So data science, e-learning, R&D development, and blockchain development, artificial intelligence. Those are the areas that we want to look into, not only like say introducing them to Curaçao, but making our people in terms of future for work to become more knowledgeable on this area. So we can also have more work on this area. So that's a part. Transnational education, for example, is also another economic pillar that the ministry is developing. So it's a good combination when trying to get universities that can come to Curaçao that are on these areas, where we can also develop our people and also develop the country itself as a knowledge economy. So that's one of the important pillars of part of the important pillar. The second, yes?
Sorry, could you just mind putting your presentation in full screen mode in the bottom corner?
Yes, like this.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so let me go to the next. Oh yeah, the second pillar, that's infrastructure, transportation, data and services. Like you can see, we're focusing on making our mobility, of course, and our transportation more smart. That's very interesting for Curacao because you see that's important for, like say, the whole development of also tourism. So we're trying to combine this to become have a more comprehensive transportation development, but make it in terms of smart also, so we can come up with broader and better solutions for the infrastructure. But you can see there's also other areas like big data, infrastructure and developing buildings and those kinds of things that also fall under this pillar. The third one is urban planning, energy and environment. These are some of the areas: smart energy, water and waste management. We have also put that in our policy for the energy. So these are a couple of the areas we aim to focus on in terms of
people are telling us that the presentation is not in full screen. So if you can put it in the full presentation mode,
okay,
so you will be able to follow it much better.
Oh, and I thought I did. What do I have to do now?
So now you have to just go to maybe it's easier to go to slideshow. Yes.
Yes.
Up the page. You see slideshow.
Yeah.
Animation slideshow. Yes. Click it, and then from current slide. Yeah.
Okay, it was like that.
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, because it was like that already, but I don't know, maybe it wasn't linked to the system. Okay, the fourth pillar is public safety and security. We already have a major project going on in terms of Ministry of Justice, where they're trying to become like more a smart city, and that is aligning, like say, all citizens of Curacao in a system where they can be recognized, and that you can become, in terms with the security, the police officers, that they can align with a system that can smartly improve when there are problems, that they can identify where the problem is, but also can move faster. So that's something they're working on. I know it's not operational yet, but they have already built the whole system, and we're trying also to see if this is gonna be launched very fast. So for the public safety and security of the island. Pillar 5, that is smart destination for leisure and business. Like I said, this is the part of the development of tourism mostly, but also the terms of the small and medium business enterprises, where we're trying to also innovate them. And we have a specific part in our innovation policy for that, because we're combining the innovation policy with the entrepreneurship and small medium business policy. But here you can see in the fifth pillar that is already also have been identified as smart investments in that area. And also, of course, financial, smart financial, fintech, blockchain, those are also part of smart destination for business and leisure. So that's the fifth. And the last one is innovation programs on the area of health and wellness, quality of life and health, social awareness, welfare and citizens, e-health, mobile and wireless health applications. We have a Ministry of Health that is now finishing our new and improved hospital. So the idea is this is going to be more high-tech, and with the possibility that the whole system of the patient is also going to be smart. So those are the areas that we're going to start, and all the other facilities of the health have to be combined with this hospital. So that will be also a push for them, a motivation to also become more smart, so they can be aligned with the whole system of the hospital. So these are, I didn't want to go very thorough through all the vision document because it's very broadened, but it's just a way to see what we want to do for the Smart Nation, what we have identified in terms of the Smart Nation itself, areas that we have chosen to be more specific because you can do a lot, but we have to focus on which are the areas that are more interesting, but also that we already have some projects going on that we can follow. To finish, because it's a lot, I just wanted to focus a little also on our policy, because the Smart Nation, as I said, is a platform, and there you have identified the areas, and there are different projects and initiatives going on. But for the Ministry of Economic Development itself, we are focusing also on a couple of areas in terms of developing innovation in the business, so in the environment of the business. Let me put it again in slideshow. Okay, so we have an innovation policy, and the innovation policy have identified in terms of the business sector, what is it that we need to do. Of course, we are developing other sectors too, but for us at the ministry, the business environment is the most important. So we have 5 strategic goals in our innovation policy that we are focusing on. The first is the more and stronger industrial SME companies. So this is in line with our small business policy also. And a very important part of this is that we are stimulating the innovation. We have a Innovation and Technology Institute that is also financed by the government, that helps these SMEs to get more in line with everything that has to do with innovation, with being more online, with being more digital. So that's something that we are trying in terms of our policy to make them stronger and more innovative. And second one is to reinforce strong sectors, like we already said, tourism, financial sector, refinery, how to implement innovation in this sector so we can get more out of them. They are going good. Some of them are having a bit of challenges, but innovation can mean that they can create new products, that they can create new services. So that is what we're focusing on, how innovation can be applied to make these areas more sustainable, but also to develop them. The third is to implement a new emerging sectors of business. And here we have like the blue economy, transnational education, but also the orange economy, culture and creative economy, where we are trying to come with new sectors. And when you come with something new, it's then a good moment to come with also new things. So it's a good aspect to focus then on the more up-to-date and new high-tech elements within this sector. We see, for example, in the creative sector, the whole media, the whole filming part, they are very also already innovative. So we're trying to keep stimulating that and also cross-link those sectors with each other so they can help to emphasize each other. The fourth is to transform Curacao into a knowledge economy. That is, when you are trying to get more in terms of universities and other areas that are high knowledgeable areas in Curacao, to develop those sectors that will also help our land, our country to become also more knowledgeable. Transnational education as a focus is focusing on that. So that is also one separate strategic goal we have identified also in our innovation policy. And fifth, to become a regional innovative player. So that's why this virtual summit is, I think, a very good innovative way to connect, because that is why we're letting see that we can't do it alone, and a lot of countries in the Caribbean are, of course, doing the same, but we can collaborate. We can work together in terms of becoming more strategic. So this is for sure one of the areas that we want to become more ambitious on this area. We have the potential. I believe Vanessa already said the infrastructure here in terms of what we have for telecommunication is very high quality. So we have a lot of infrastructure that can help us become a very important innovative player in the Caribbean. So I think I'm finishing the presentation like this, just to give an idea, the areas where we want to be smart, but also what our innovation policy aims to achieve.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Suleika, for this very, very good information. People are asking for the slides and for the presentation, and also the 5 areas of innovation policy. So if we can send it over to people after this session, then people will,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, we can do that, no problem.
Okay, great. So stay online, follow the other panelists so we can continue the discussion later on, okay?
Yes, all right.
Okay, great, thank you. I would like to introduce Mr. Ricardo Lochan from the Curaçao Innovation and Technology Institute, CITI.
Yes.
A very instrumental organization that is part of the implementation structure of the innovation and technology policy. And I would like to ask Ricardo to tell us what makes Curaçao ideal for the development of a smart nation and also as a test lab, and what makes Curaçao a leader in the region in the field of technology.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks for the nice presentation. My name is Ricardo Lochan. I'm here at the Curaçao Innovation Technology Institute. And regarding your question, I think we have all the major things in place to be able to make Curaçao a smart nation. Let's say, in case one of the most important parts for our nation to become smart is the infrastructure. Without a good infrastructure, you won't be able to add anything to make it smart. So since we have a good infrastructure, this will give us the edge to be able to implement any smart devices or smart platforms on our nation. So to make Curaçao smart, this has also helped us in making the steps shorter in implementing a smart nation. We have been doing a lot of research in that area. We also came up with a road to e-commerce. And all those parts are very integral in the whole of being a smart nation. You have to have certain things in place to be able to consider yourself as a smart nation. For example, I heard you guys mentioning a few projects. For example, the one of the cameras. This will help immensely in becoming a smart nation, because if you add just a few elements like facial recognition and number plate recognition, you will be able to assess not only in the preventive field, like in justice, but you will also use it in fields like identifying certain vehicles, identifying certain persons, certain areas. But you will also be able to identify if there are any traffic jams or if there are accidents in certain areas in which you can inform the public and just divert the traffic into other areas in which you won't have any traffic stops or big files of cars waiting for an accident to be cleared up. So this information will be valuable not only for the local clients, but also has a value for the government. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. So we will be back at you shortly after we had all the panelists during the first part. So what is a smart nation? What is a country without good data? So one of our main stakeholders and partners in the development of Curaçao as a smart nation is the Bureau of Statistics, our National Statistical Office. Mr. Sean de Boer, the director, will share some thoughts and information with us. So why is data essential for a country, especially a smart nation, Sean?
Well, I think it's imperative for a country to have good data that is valid to use, of course, especially going for more for the use of more administrative data or big data these days. Instead of going, let's see, I see a presentation. Yes, instead of going to collect the data primarily in the fields, to have more reliable data, data that is collected by, let's say, our registry systems on the island. Curaçao, known as a country that has relatively good administrative data recorded either within the let's say, semi-private entities and of course the government sector. I think it's imperative to try to connect this data as much as possible, create a good data ecosystem that we can use. And that's the way we are trying these days to get the data connected, data linked, so we can get more out of it, can use it more in a specific way that it's needed for certain information. Yes, it's imperative that countries have good administrative data to work with.
Excellent, Sean. And so what is the data-driven Curaçao initiative?
Okay. In Curaçao, we are striving to become smart as all the cities in the world. So for that, we started, let's say, several projects. One big project has to do with creating registry, let's say, basic registry systems. Why basic registry systems? Because these data are used, let's say, are collected once and used more than one time. So creating these basic registry systems that could provide the government, especially with good information. That's one project we started back in 2007. And I think at this moment, we are almost there to connect 3 basic registry systems together. So we can start minimizing, especially personal information of our civilians, because we do have in Curaçao a personal registry. We call it, some countries call it the census office. In our case, it's a registration for our civilians, where you have personal information stored in the system that could be useful for other administrative data to work with, but you can also, let's say, get statistical information that is needed of your population to work with. Connecting it, for instance, with our license plate, license number registration, that will bring more information into light with regards to the amount of cars driving on our roads, and pertaining to some household or somebody, then you can prepare, for instance, your taxes in a better way for these kind of vehicles. And so you can think of a lot of things that you could do when you connect those basic registry systems. This project started, as I told you already, in 2007. But besides that, we are working on a, you heard me say it already, on a data ecosystem, and with the ending goal, with a goal in mind, that we want to become a expertise centrum in the Caribbean, that we can provide our expertise with regards to data linkages, data processing, data preparing, especially administrative data, how to prepare that, to work with, to derive statistical information out of it. So those are two, let's say, roads that we are traveling right now. One is creating basic registry systems that we can use, and the other one, preparing our data ecosystem by bringing in private sector, semi-private data sources with the government sources together to get better data.
Okay, very good. So people, please continue following us on this data-driven Curaçao initiative. We are working very hard in realizing Curaçao as a model for other islands. So we look forward to receiving more information on this scene. So what about becoming a smart nation? Wanted to work on economic development, economic diversification, without taking into account the ecological part of the development. So that's why we said the sustainable development plans of Curaçao should include, next to the people, the economy, but also the planet. And therefore we invited Sabine Berendse of Green Phoenix. She is a social entrepreneur, and she has been advocating for a cleaner environment, and she is working day to day to help us preserve our ocean and also make sure that we recycle much more on the island. So Sabine, how can Green Phoenix as a social enterprise contribute in making Curaçao a smart nation?
Thank you for the introduction, Vanessa. There are several ways actually that Green Phoenix is already contributing to making Curaçao a smarter nation, because initially, to be a smart nation, we have to have an holistic approach. You can all hear me, right?
Yes, okay. Yes, we can.
So we've been focusing on cleaning up our ocean environment, but that's not only for our ocean, that's also for our own health. And it's also creating opportunities for people from Curaçao to get a job in a new industry. We are using waste plastic and transforming that into new products. And by doing so, we are creating employment opportunities and education opportunities for people from the Caribbean. Right now, we're working together with SOAW, and we have 12 people here that are learning how to work with extruders, how to work with 3D printing systems that are not using traditional filament to print, but we're using powder plastic to actually produce new products. We make beams for creating bigger impact, and we aim to create a circular economy in the Caribbean. And by doing so, we're actually creating new opportunities because we are rethinking the way we're looking at products after they end their normal life cycle. Because traditionally we're in a linear system where a lot ends up in the landfill, but the landfills are filling up, and landfills that are filling up, oceans are filling up. While there's a lot of data available about that, 38,000 kilograms was already collected per year or per month by a colleague organization Green Force, and that had to be exported previously, and then in another country they would make new products out of it. But if we can do that locally, it will save emissions, it will create local employment, and it basically opens the doors to a lot of different opportunities for Curaçao, making the island cleaner, creating employment, and wasting less, so helping the whole economy basically.
Good. And Sabine, what should governments of small islands do to guarantee a sustainable development and reach resilience, what we are basically looking for?
Well, that's multi-leveled, because first of all, obviously they have the responsibility to be a role model, an example. So when you would enter a government building and you have an appointment there, you should not be served coffee or tea in a plastic or a styrofoam cup. That's the first step, because that's just hurtful. Also, it's taking less care of the people that you have attention or have an appointment with, because I really don't like microplastic in my body. So they should be a role model in that account. But also they should implement legislation offering tax incentives for people that are, or companies that are producing more sustainably, and maybe enforcing taxes on companies that insist on being less sustainable. So more financial incentives on using better business practices, better sustainable business practices. Well, that's just one of the things. There are a lot of initiatives that want to start up in a more sustainable business practice, and they have a little bit of difficulty, but there could be a little bit more incentives for just green and blue business practices, is my opinion.
Very good, thank you. And I think the minister would like to comment on this.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Sabine. I saw you guys a couple of weeks ago in Zambil with your presentation. You guys really blew my mind away. I was really impressed, and I thank you for this beautiful, beautiful citizen commitment to our society, but not now, for our future generation. I think that's the most beautiful thing you guys are doing right now with your business. For Curaçao, the plastic issue is as anywhere else in the world. As we said, we need to have policies in place. I have been working on this policy in the parliament in Curaçao, as you know, but I have been, we have here our advisory of legislation, the Raad from Advies. They were not agreed, like 2 times I sent it in, they weren't agree with my motivation. And I love the issue about the microplastic, that it is sad to say that they weren't aware of that, and that would implicate our food consuming also on the islands, especially Curaçao, where we eat a lot of fish. We have a lot of fishermen here that fish for a living, and they sell it for a living, and we eat it as food. And that was not really taken in consideration, but I tried again. I use it, I put it in another context right now, and as we speak, it went again to them to revise it, and I hope with this policy we can get rid of the plastic bags that we have all around on the island, that they give you when you buy a small thing, they just give it away. If you buy bread, they give you a plastic a bag, and at the end of the day, we see them all around the island, harming our ecological system, and especially, and when we take account the beautiful project that we have with the turtles. They really suffer because all this plastic comes back in the ocean. About the initiative that we can do to support this kind of entrepreneurship, I really think that we have to look very serious about it, how we from our ministry can do something about it, and to give this kind of entrepreneurship a better platform and make them successful, because it is difficult. It is a pity that we are not aware of the importance of this kind of entrepreneurs and businesses, and this is where we as government need to give the support. And of course, and also the ones who visit our islands. Today I had an interview when they asked me, Ms. McQuillan, what do you think about the eco-tax? An eco-tax that we know that it will go in a fund, especially for us to take care of our ecological system and all that has to do with it. And I know that people, tourists nowadays, they travel wherever they go, they are happy to pay the tax because they know they are visiting a place or an island that consider their ecological, the nature important. So it's something that I will really discuss with our partners in the government, and also with our tourist board, CTB, and our cruise authority with CPA, to give me more feedback how we can do this and to get the funds to support this kind of projects also.
Great, thank you. Minister, you know that last May, we established a platform for social entrepreneurs in Curaçao, because we wanted to give more attention to social entrepreneurship, to balance out all these initiatives to develop the smart nation, the technology side, the smart side, but where we need to also focus on the initiatives on the more soft side of our development, which is our environment, our social and cultural aspects. So as we speak, a colleague is in Brussels participating in a conference about social entrepreneurship, which is a program that the EU has launched, and that we are making use of the knowledge that they are generating in the field of social entrepreneurship, that we can also invest back in our social entrepreneurs here in Curaçao. There were 15 social entrepreneurs present that day that signed a joint declaration to continue to work together. So as soon as my colleague returns, we will have a new session with this great team of entrepreneurs that helps us in balancing out the development of Curaçao as a sustainable island.
I'm very happy to hear that, because I know that I must say that this ministry is very, very productive, effective, working on all these areas to make things happen. And I'm very proud, and I think we can go for a couple of hours with this summit just to inform the world what we are doing on this little island, but with a lot of human capital, know-how, and passion for working for us as inhabitants at this beautiful island, but also for the future generation of Curaçao and the world.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you. So let's open the floor to our panelists, but also we are getting a lot of questions through the chats, and James is supporting us by answering some of them. But if there are questions that we can discuss on, then I would like to check. Somebody is asking us to take the camera a little bit back, maybe in order to see our faces better, because let me see. Resubmit follow-up questions to the panelists with dedicated email. Yes, because we have so many questions and I lost a little bit of track, but I promise that we will answer them all in the course of the day. But let me see. which question I can ask the panelists to answer. Let me see. People are commenting that people at CT are very knowledgeable about innovation in Curacao. Somebody asked also on sargassum. If there is a point for sargassum on Curacao, yes, there is at the Ministry of Health. And they are tackling the sargassum issue. So if there is any specific question, we can direct it to the ministry and to the person in charge, Mr. Faisal Dil Rosen. He's the person in charge of managing this whole sargassum part, and also Gabriel Murray is the director of the division, which is responsible for this part of and the environment. So we can share their contact details with you all. Okay, it would be interesting to get a link where tech startups can explore the suitability of Curacao for their innovative concepts. This is a useful prior to traveling and engaging persons in the country to determine feasibility. So Zuleika and CT, maybe you can give a brief comment on that. Zuleika or Ricardo? Yes.
Yes. Yes, indeed. We have, of course, several initiatives that are, like say, guiding different techno entrepreneurs in this endeavor. But the Curaçao Innovation Technology Institute, of course, I would suggest as one of the platforms to engage in terms of projects, but also the ministry itself. We have launched last week, I believe, Mi Negoci platform it's called. And there we are also looking into new investment opportunities or different entrepreneurs that have ideas. So if there are others that also want to match with these entrepreneurs, that would be also a very good platform, I think. We have a website. It's www.minegoshi.org, but we can send it later in the email. And so you can have also more information about how to contact the ministry directly. Also the website of CT. I think those are the panels that they can address for these matchings.
Don't forget what's cooking in Curacao.
Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. There are so much. Yeah. We have so much.
which has a lot of information as well, and it's especially directed towards the international entrepreneurs and investors and the tech startups that we are tackling.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, great. Let me see if I can get some more comments. Let me check. Otherwise, do you still have some things that you wanted to add, Sean or Sabine or Ricardo?
No, I don't have any comments at this moment.
I could add some words. For those that are in technology, we have various programs that we just started the Startup Launchpad. It's not specifically for technology, but it's more specific for innovation and new ideas. So if you are a startup and you have something that has to do with innovation, you are basically asked to join, but the program already started. So we are in the second, already started with the first phase. For next year, most probably the program will keep on going. So I will invite all of you to keep an eye out. And if you're in the field of technology and with innovation, it would be a great it will be a great asset for you to participate, because even if you don't win, you will have an added value as a company.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I would like to share with you some interesting points or add-ons, as we call it, the top 10 Curacao add-ons. And it's a way to check what we can offer, and maybe you can evaluate and see if there is something we can mean for you. For example, we offer internet peace of mind. Curacao boasts a robust telecommunications connectivity to the outside world, having our own internet exchange, the Caribbean Internet Exchange, which is modeled after and managed by the Amsterdam Internet Exchange. This means your company can piggyback on the advantages of high quality and full capacity network and make use of the excellent connectivity to other networks on the peering platform. We also have a full-fledged data center with integrity, reliability, and the culture of organizational excellence as the foundational pillars of its core values. BlueNAP of the Americas is another notch in our modern technology belt, but bear in mind that it is just one of our data centers. We also have we also have a few more. We consider ourselves as a test haven for tech startups. The local population is an excellent target group for testing out new concepts. The scale makes it easy to roll out new technologies and makes you better able to measure effects and quickly adapt your product as needed. Curaçaoans are forgiving people. As long as you improve it, they will give you another chance. Let your designers and creatives thrive in the breeding nest of ideas and let their creative juices flow in an enticing social life and loosely hatching art. Our scale is your alley. So grow your competitive edge here. You have less and smaller competitors and less investment requirements to reach your customers. And the ease is scaling your business up or down. From your vantage point in Curacao, you have easy access to both the Latin American and Caribbean and European markets. The culturally diverse and multilingual population are the zest you need to make the stepping into foreign markets easier. Like-mindedness, that's another one. When in Curacao, it is easy to meet other professionals, both local and from abroad, that share many of your goals and passions. Engage with them at happy hour or as a member of one of the many international service and business clubs. Island of Wellness. Recently, the government agreed to prioritize wellness and has been putting extra effort into initiatives in this direction. With dreamy, secluded beaches, an island-wide energy that can only be felt with no words to describe its power, and with people who are spiritual and caring, Curaçao is the perfect healing environment for body, mind, and soul. There are opportunities to be reaped for your company, but more importantly, yours, your families, and your team's well-being are nurtured here. As mentioned earlier, the state-of-the-art hospital, living on an island, knowing that your health is our priority too, is pivotal to the viability of your company. The brand new Curaçao Medical Center, a digital environment, is unique to the Caribbean, offering state-of-the-art facilities built according to the latest standards and technology available worldwide. Another add-on is our authenticity. Our people is a mix of different ethnicities that have established here through the course of history, and our diverse cultures have intertwined, creating a potpourri that is uniquely ours. A wonderful blend of colors and customs, music, architecture, and flavors. We simply are Curaçaoans in our extraordinary, ordinary way. An unabashed quality of life, cultural heritage, museums, festivals, carnival, unrivaled architecture, art, tours, adventures, hiking, breathtaking landscapes, sumptuous food, and nightlife are among the highly regarded things that Curaçao has to offer. However, the biggest difference is made by our people. We embrace cultural diversity, gender equality, race neutrality, omnism, and hospitality. We accept you with open heart, yet we'll ask you to adhere to our cultural values so we can continue to be authentic. And the last but not least, your provocation matters. This is a word that we invented. You want to work and build a business here? We refer to that as a provocation, professional vacation. Yes, we invented the concept in the 15th century, but let's have the full explanation of that one for when you are doing business here and appreciating the rich history that shaped our culture and triggered our zest for life. That is Curaçao, the Smart Nation. Thank you very much for your attention, and we will go further with our work here, and we will check out all the questions and we will answer them. We will check also the chat and answer the questions, and we are very open for your comments and for your questions and for any information you need for this matter. Thank you once again for your time. Thank you to all the panelists, Minister Giselle McWilliam, to Sean de Boer, to Sabine Berendsen, Zuleika Moog, to Ricardo Lochen. Thanks, James. And Minister, would you like to give a few words?
Yes, thank you very much for your attention. We did what we could in the best way to put Curaçao on this platform, and all what Vanessa just summed up, all what we are as Curaçao is pressure, is big and priceless. And I hope you take advantage of it, because Curaçao is really a unique island, can give you all opportunities that you might think it may be a dream, but here we make dreams a reality. So welcome to Curaçao anytime you desire. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. Thank you so much.